So as a woman in finance in the airline industry, the biggest challenge I've probably faced is that, like other roles within the company, no different than a pilot and many other roles within the company, they have been historically male-dominated, and that is a real challenge.
When I started in the aviation safety degree at Embry-Riddle, I was the only female in that course.
In a lot of rooms that I sat in were older men. So not only am I dealing with the bias of being a woman, but I'm dealing with the bias of being a young black woman at that.
You don't really get much women like, why are you in this career? 'Cause I choose it.
I've spoken with some of my fellow female flight attendants, and some of the responses that I've gotten were kind of a reassurance to me that I'm not envisioning things.
From what I see is on the ramp that there are a lot of guys out there and they're just, catcalling girls and all this stuff. And I did have hesitations with that, knowing that I was going to be in that environment, and I was kind of leery about what is it going to entail?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is unconscious bias.
Why are you not at a desk job or a nurse or something else?
Some of the professors didn't necessarily think that women should fly in combat or other things that would hold us back in the industry.
I'm gonna change a tire. I don't need help to change a tire or a brake, which is heavy. And they're like, oh, no, you move out of the way and I'll do it. No, I'm gonna do it.
When I'm traveling and we're boarding up on the plane, and sometimes you hear passengers, they see a woman and they make a comment, a discriminatory comment, and it shocks me sometimes.
Some feel that they're there to be looked at and just to serve cookies and drinks. The captains, when they make their welcome aboard announcement, they say, your flight attendant is there primarily for your safety. Everything else is icing on the cake. We are not there because we have to serve. No, we are there because if something happens, we have been trained in how to react.
I've never had somebody purposely be mean to me or purposely discriminate towards me. It might be from ignorance, or it might be from curiosity that they ask questions that might be a little offensive or are offensive, but majority of the time they're not trying to be.
But I think those little things that we think are just, minor or just slights, you add them all up and they become microaggressions. And those can really perpetuate that discrimination in our industry. So we have to be really careful about that. And I think we need to check people when they say it.
Being the only woman in the room, or one of the only women in the room, sometimes your voice is not heard as loudly as others. Other women, we uplift each other's voices or reiterate what the other one has said in the room to make sure that we're heard.
One thing I've seen at Piedmont that I've not always seen in other industries is that Piedmont has first recognized that this is a deficiency, that we do not have as many females in leadership roles, as many females in finance roles. They recognize this, and that's the first step towards improving it.
I think the whole part of why women are not in aviation as much as men is because it's passed down. Your father was in aviation. Majority of people I fly with, they say their dad was in aviation or their grandpa. And so for us women, we don't have that heritage. We don't have, our mother or our grandmother was an airline pilot and I saw their lifestyle and I wanted that.
Even in just the 11 years I've been here, I've seen a huge change, and I would say over the last 5 years or so is when I've seen a lot more women appearing in these roles. So I'm seeing a lot more women that are, in the ramp ranks, so that's nice to see, because a lot of times, we look at pilots are mostly male, but also in the ramp department and baggage handling, that's what you see is mostly men as well.
I want to be part of the change. I want to make people feel comfortable. I want to be more welcoming and be a female trainer in a dominated male industry, because if you see me and think, she doesn't look like your typical trainer, I want to prove you wrong.
As women in general, it's our job as well to not rely on others to build us up, but also making sure that we have the confidence within ourselves.
If you want change, don't just sit back and let other people try to fix it. You actually have to be a part of the change if you want it.
I had a goal, and this is where I wanted to be. I am the director for the division that I started working for as an agent, which is, I think, pretty awesome.
Do your research, and there's a lot of different areas in the aviation industry that you can, start up right out of high school.
You may see the flight attendants, you may see the pilots, you may see the mechanics, but there's so many amazing people behind the scenes that get the job done.
It is for everyone. There's a job here in the airline industry for everyone.
I've also always had great support from my Piedmont leadership, and I believe that is a very strong resource for women to have another female that they look up to and can use in a mentor-mentee relationship.
No matter if it's Gates or Provo, if I have a question, there's always a female leader available for me to go to.
Piedmont also has opportunities for various employee resource groups which support women, and I would highly encourage women in aviation to be part of those groups where you can get the support.
I was blessed to come in a generation that they worked so hard to give me what I have now. But that's because of my mom and my grandma. It's because they took the strides of being able to actually work in the industry.
These women had the confidence to know that anything that he can do, I can do.
So I think it's important that we remember where we come from, and that's why we celebrate all history. We remember where we came from.